Happy New Year! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new today, my name is Gemma and I have 4 children, a 3-year-old, almost 3.5-year-old actually, called Oscar, and then I have triplet boys, Sebastian, Ashton and Hendrix, who are almost 9 months old. I cannot believe it. Last year was a massive whirlwind of a year, and I know it's been a struggle for everybody, and it seems like we're entering into this year and it's still a bit of a struggle. So I thought I would kickstart this year with a Q&A video, kind of doing a bit of a life update where we are, and so that we can kind of move on from all of that and start the year afresh. I've got high hopes that I can keep posting on my YouTube channel this year. I've been able to employ somebody to help me out part-time, to give me a little bit of flexibility in my routine as well, so that I can make some videos, because it's what I love to do and it also supports my family. So yeah, I just thought I would do this Q&A. I put a message over on my Instagram stories, and I put one here on my community tab. If you don't follow me on Instagram or you're not subscribed to my channel, you won't have seen those, so make sure that you do those things. I post a lot over on Instagram. Well, not a lot, but I post more over on Instagram, kind of snippets of our lives, if that's something that you're interested in as well. And I hope to do lots more kind of short little vlogs as well, because lots of you are interested in life with triplets, which I understand, because I am also interested of life with triplets with other people. So I'm hoping this year that I can do lots of like little tiny vlogs, not necessarily big long ones, but maybe like 8 to 10 minute ones. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. But anyway, I'm going to kickstart the questions, and I'll pop up on the screen who asked them. And yeah, let's get into this little life update and Q&A. Okay, so I got so many questions from you guys. Well, not even questions really, just kind of love and support again. But lots of you just asking how I am and how's my mental health, and you know, considering everything that happened last year, how am I doing? So if you're new here, or you may have missed it, because I didn't really post too much over here, I just put a little note over on my YouTube community page just to say at the end of the last year I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and so I kind of I think I did my last video in September, October, and I haven't posted since then. And I do apologise for not kind of keeping you guys in the loop. I kind of assume everyone follows me over on Instagram, but I know you don't, because I've got lots more followers over here on YouTube. But yeah, so I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. They found a tumour in my thyroid, and I basically had the chance to just have a partial thyroidectomy because of its positioning right in the centre of the thyroid, and the fact that it hadn't grown too large. They hoped that they could just take the tumour, take significant margins from around it, and that I would still be able to maintain the rest of my thyroid. I also had the option just to go straight in and have the whole thyroid taken out, and then that would avoid having to have further surgery potentially, etc, etc. Anyway, lots of you guys have offered me advice, and I really appreciated that as well. Lots of you have been through thyroid cancer, or know somebody who has, and I actually opted in the end to just have the partial thyroidectomy. It was a risk because it could have meant that I would have had to have gone back into hospital like a month later. In fact, end of January I would have had to have gone back in and had the whole thing removed, but I was hopeful, and it was really the best insofar as managing the family as well, because I was able to go in on a day surgery. I went in at like 7 AM and I was home in the afternoon. I had a week where I wasn't really allowed to lift anything because of the scar. You probably can see my scar, what I've got there. They tell me it's gonna get better and it will eventually just fade into a white line because they've cut it in the crease of my neck anyway. So yeah, so I did a day surgery and I was out, and then a few weeks later I got the all clear that the margins that they took from around the tumour were free of cancer cells. So I'll be continuing to be monitored, but it's the best possible outcome. I'm told that, you know, thyroid cancer is one of the better cancers to have because it doesn't spread very easily anyway, so that was good. And then the fact that I was able to maintain my thyroid means I don't have to have any radiotherapy and I don't have to have any medication, hopefully. As long as my thyroid function tests, I'm having a couple more tests, and as long as my thyroid function is fine, then I won't need medication. But I am really good, actually. I know people say that and often don't mean it, but I really do feel like I'm okay. I am really positive. Like I say, I've been able to recruit somebody to help me out at home. Now it's a temporary position because she's going to have to leave at some point through her own circumstances, but it's helping me at the moment. And then we'll see if I can find somebody else. But the position that I'm needing is a difficult one because I'm at home with the children as well, so I'm not necessarily looking for a childminder, that, you know, somebody that comes in and looks after your kids while you're not there. I'm looking for someone to kind of work alongside me. I'm looking for someone who can pitch in with whatever needs to be done, and if that's cleaning, which a lot of it is, like washing up the baby's bottles, doing the laundry, cleaning the house, cleaning up after meals now because they're weaning. There's a lot of that as well, so it's a difficult position because a childminder isn't necessarily going to want to always clean. They might want to do with the kids, but if I'm paying someone, I always feel like if there's a choice between me interacting with my children or me cleaning up the high chairs, I would rather be doing the children, and I'll pay someone to do the high chairs, if you get what I mean. So it's a difficult position to recruit for, and it requires somebody who can multitask really, really well. So I just need to almost double myself. But the girl I've got at the moment is fabulous, and she's been a huge help, and I just wish I could keep her for longer. But anyway, I'm good, doing well because of that, and because I've got the all clear, and because it's a new year, and I'm hopeful that this year the boys are getting bigger. Now that does come with its challenges because they're starting to move a little bit, and that's going to be crawling very soon, I imagine. But generally, I'm good, thanks. Okay, another question I've had is, what is Oscar's favourite activities? Some of you have asked kind of similar things in different ways. So we are now January, so Oscar's had all his Christmas presents, and I have to say his favourite activities all revolve around his Christmas presents, which, you know, when you buy your kids stuff and you think, oh, they're going to like it, I just feel, yes, they've done what they're meant to do. So I really researched, if you saw my gift guide video, which was the last video I did in 2020, you would have seen what we were buying. Oscar, the kinetics tiles, the magnetic kinetics tiles, have gone down a storm. He's really loved those. Then he got given, well, in fact all the boys got given from my best friend Tamlin. She managed to source us the Grimm's large stepped pyramid, which was on my list of things that I really lusted after but just never bought. So she bought it as a joint present for all 4 boys, and the babies love them because they're super colourful, but Oscar is really enjoying those too. He makes little rows with them, he makes towers for the octonauts and the sea life and whatever. So yeah. Okay, the next question, in fact, Emily has asked 2 questions, so I'll answer both because they kind of go together. So she said, what would be the triplets' names if they were girls, and what are your kids' middle names? So I actually did a video in a collaboration with SJ Strum, who's like the queen of baby names. I'll link it in the description box, where I talked about all our baby name suggestions and things like that. So the girls' names that the triplets would have had, we loved Eden, Elle, Freya. I do have it somewhere on my phone. Kind of short, kind of girly, floral, gentle names. Charlotte would have been definitely one of their names because that's my middle name, and I wanted to pass that on, so one of them would have been Charlotte if they were a girl. May would have been a middle name because that's a kind of family name, but we knew fairly early on that they were all boys. Actually, one of our very early scans, I think it must have been around 14 weeks maybe, they kind of said, we're pretty much definite that these are all boys, and then our 20-week scan kind of confirmed that. So we knew from very early on that they were boys. When I made that video, I knew they were all boys. So I was happy to give away all my girls' names because I knew they weren't going to be girls, and I knew we weren't going to have any more children. And what are our children's middle names? So Oscar is Oscar James. Now that's a family name. My husband is Jamie and his dad is James. My granddad is James. It's just a family name on both sides. So he's Oscar James. Then Sebastian, who's our oldest triplet by 2 minutes, he is Sebastian Reed, and Reed is my maiden name, R-E-I-D. So I wanted to pass on something from me because I wasn't having a girl. I was like, I can't pass on Gemma, I can't pass on Charlotte because that's my middle name, so I'll pass on my maiden name. So Sebastian is Sebastian Reed, and then Ashton is Ashton Oliver, and Oliver is my husband's middle name, so he is Jamie Oliver as his first two names. Not named after Jamie Oliver because they're very similar age actually. So Ashton Oliver, and then Hendrix is Hendrix William, and William is another strong family name. My dad's middle name is William, my brother's middle name is William, and my granddad's name is William. So that's a big family name as well. So the middle names all are linked to our families, but Sebastian, Ashton, Hendrix, Oscar are all just names we love. Okay, this is a good question. Somebody's asked, what is your inner mantra when all the babies are crying? I never want to portray myself as being the perfect mother. Lots of you call me superhuman or superwoman or whatever. This is hard. Like, motherhood is hard, and I think motherhood is hard no matter how many children you have. I found Oscar, you know, was hard just as a single child. To never feel like, oh, you know, I've only got one baby, I shouldn't find this hard. Like, it's hard. Motherhood is hard. Like, you're giving up a lot of you and trying to keep another human alive. Like, it's hard work. My inner mantra when all the babies are crying is give me strength. It doesn't always work. I don't always have the strength. And I always just prioritize, you know, you just got to look at who needs it the most, because I can't comfort them all. I can't do everything for all of them at the same time. So it's just a case of the hierarchy of, okay, you need this, you need that, you need that. Okay, this one's easy for me to do. You need to be held, you need that. And generally it does all happen at once. Like when the babies are having an off day, then Oscar tends to have an off day because I've got so much of my time dedicated to the babies. Then he feels the need, the lack of attention from him. So it does tend to work that way, that when someone's having a bad day, it filters down and everyone has a bad day. So yeah, my inner mantra is give me strength, and I just try to take a moment and like, no, it doesn't always work, and sometimes I am stressed. A lot of the times I'm stressed and it's hard, and yeah, you just got to take a breath, take a moment. And I read a lot of parenting books and still try to get my head in the right frame because I'm triggered, and I think that's normal for everybody, so don't feel guilty if you're triggered by screaming, because I think it does trigger everybody. And it just, like, I can feel my stress levels rising when you can just, you know, they're screaming and screaming and screaming and you can't do anything for them. And the worst thing is when you're holding a baby, you know, you're trying to stroke another baby and then the third baby starts up and you think, I just can't do anything for you. So yeah, give me strength. Okay, somebody asked about Oscar. How is Oscar pushing boundaries and how are you handling it, especially when you have 3 babies? First of all, I have to remind myself that pushing boundaries is 100% normal for this age. He's 3.5. That's what he should be doing. So he's on the right track basically by pushing boundaries. That's not to say that him pushing boundaries does not frustrate me, does not anger me, does not trigger me. It absolutely does. I really recommend reading Alfie Kohn's Unconditional Parenting. It was a really life-changing book for me to understand the way convention has told us to parent children, to control them, to make them do these things, you know, for them to have no choice. And, you know, all of that with Rye Parenting and Janet Lansbury and Magda Gerber, all of that combined has helped me understand where I'm coming from as a parent, from what I've been conditioned to think, and also from my teaching background of control and, you know, getting children to do this, this and this, and you do what I say because I'm the adult and you're the child, and breaking that mold and understanding that, you know, ultimately they are a human being, and there is obviously things that we need to do for them to keep them safe, to make sure that they're ready for society, and, you know, and things like that. But the more choice and the more autonomy we can give our children, the less they need to push those boundaries because they feel that they are in control of their own life. And I've seen the fruits of that labor, basically. The more I give Oscar choice, the more he is happy to kind of go along with it. The more I, you know, make him go in my time scale, you know, like, I want you to brush your teeth now, and he's like, no. You know, and then I realize, you know, he doesn't need to brush them right this minute. What I can say to him is, okay, I'm upstairs for the next 10 minutes for you to brush your teeth. You let me know when you're ready. I'm gonna go and get dressed. And then generally he comes and says, I'm ready to brush my teeth. It's actually by putting those arbitrary things in place that make your children push back. And if you actually just say, look, I've actually got 10 minutes in a space of time and I can be getting on with other stuff, and then he can come to me when he's ready. He generally does, and it just makes it a smoother morning. With getting dressed or things like that, or getting ready to go outside, I give him choices. So I say, like, Oscar, are you going to put on your hat or your scarf first? You're going to put on your boots or your coat first? You know, so you're still reaching the same goal, but he gets some choice in what's happening, and so I get less pushback. Now there are days when that goes completely out the window and I'm so frustrated. I've got the babies crying and I'm just like, would you just brush your teeth? Like, we need to go, you need to go to school. And it doesn't always work like that, so I never want to paint the picture that what I do always works or is always perfect, but I do all the time that I kind of take a moment and do it the way that I know works. It does help. So yeah, reading those books, constantly reminding myself of those things has really helped. And but like I say, pushing boundaries is totally normal. Okay, somebody's asked, how do you what do they say, how do you have any advice on how to keep up with a good rhythm in rotating toys? Now, toy rotation is something that is amazing when it's done, and you can totally see the benefits of it. I'm actually going to post a video in a few weeks' time, might be the one after this, I'm not sure, about our toy storage and toy rotation. So when Oscar was much smaller and I only had Oscar, I rotated more frequently. Partly because I didn't have that many toys as well. So, you know, I would put stuff out and then I wouldn't have that much stuff in storage kind of thing. So I would just rotate the odd thing. So it wouldn't need as big a rotation as I do now. Now, Oscar's 3.5, and so we've got kind of 3.5 years of accumulated toys. But I'm much better at choosing toys that last. So the toy storage is quite intense and I need to kind of go over it now that Christmas is over and done with and there's extra things. But what I tend to do is now I don't set it like, oh, I've got to rotate every 2 weeks or whatever. I just, if things are getting stale, then I remove them. And I might just do it ad hoc, like while he's playing, just be like, these, you know, these puzzles haven't been played with for a while, put those away, put something else out. Or, you know, some days I'll get the energy in the evening to be like, right, he's very needy at the moment, he's constantly asking me to play, he can't play on his own. I'm guessing that means that he's fed up with his toys, and I'll do a big rotation, and then the next morning we're refreshed again and he's back to independently playing. So I just kind of wait for his signals that, you know, he either hasn't touched something or he is requiring lots more adult input to play because everything's a bit boring to him basically, and then that's when I rotate. Okay, I've had a few questions about mum guilt, and this will be my last question that I answer. So I think mum guilt is totally normal. It's something that we all feel because we understand the, you know, the pressures of trying to do everything. I do get to the end of the day sometimes and think, have I even interacted with Ashton today? Or you know, oh, I didn't give Oscar enough time today. I was so busy with the babies, and I'm constantly saying, I'm doing this, Oscar. No, I can't do that, Oscar. You know, I think at the end of the day, you do get that stage where you're evaluating everything that happened and just think, today was not the best, I could have done it better. But I think that's just human nature, isn't it? We're always trying to, you know, perfect ourselves, we're trying to get better, and you've just got to accept the fact that that's just an emotion that you're feeling like anything else, and tomorrow's a new day. And you know, if you felt like I didn't give that one child that much attention today, make it a priority tomorrow. It's not easy. Like I say, motherhood is not easy, and there's so much to juggle, not just children, it's, you know, household, and it's self-care, and it's a relationship with your husband, and it's relationships with friends and family, and getting out for exercise, and eating well, and making sure everyone's got what they need, and it's just a lot. And so I think feeling like you haven't done your best is inevitable, because it's impossible sometimes to do your best every single day. So I just remind myself that I will try better tomorrow. I will try to fill the gaps that I'm feeling that I have left today. And yeah, no one's perfect. No matter who you watch or who you follow or your best friend or whoever's making it look easy, everyone finds it hard. There's always times when it's not going to plan and everything that they hoped isn't happening. So yeah, try not to compare, and try to just take a breath and feel like tomorrow's a new day. That's basically how I get through motherhood. Okay guys, I think I have talked for way too long. My camera battery is now flashing, and so I need to go charge that. Thank you for watching this week's video. Thank you for coming back to my channel this year, and thank you for getting to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this little catch up, and yeah, I hope to be posting at least once a week now. There might be the odd week where that doesn't happen if things go awry. But yeah, I really would love you to subscribe to my channel and follow along with us on this journey, and I will hopefully see you again next week. Bye.